Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be looking at this new JBL headphone. This is known as the Tour M3 and this model is with the Smart TX. Actually we do get it in two variants guys, just the headphone itself and also with this receiver. I'll talk about that later. And I feel this is a very advanced ANC headphone and has, I feel, one of the most advanced features as I've seen on a headphone. So this is the box that it comes in, and yes, of course, this has ANC, also has that 360-degree audio, also has lossless audio, LDAC, and all those things. We have this. I'll show you that. Also, this does has Auracast support and also high-res audio certification is there. And it says 70 hours of battery life, but with ANC, it's about 40 hours. And in fact, I would say the battery life is actually very, very good on this. We'll also be going over all these parameters that I generally go over with headphones, so we'll do that. Also, you get this quick pamphlet so that you can easily set it up, and you get an app for both iPhone as well as Android. And this is the case that we get. In fact, I like the case that you're getting. As you can see, you also have a buckle over here, so you can attach it to your bag or something like that. It's a very high quality one that yeah, even the outer what do you say is actually very good. In fact, here also it's written JBL Tour, and once you open it up, the headphone was here. Of course, I have taken it out, and I like that this is collapsible, so very easy for traveling around, very compact in nature. I'll come back to this one later, but let me actually show you. We do get a lot of other things also. So as this is the Smart TX bundle, you get this one. I'll show you this, what this is. Let me switch this on. And apart from that, we also do get two different cables also in this one, and I'll show you what is the importance of this. These are actually very, very important, and that makes this headphone very, very different. This is a 3.5mm headphone jack to USB cable, and this is a USB Type-C to Type-C cable. You can also use it for charging, but you can also use this to connect to your computer's stuff like that. And also we get an adapter. Let's say your what do you say, computer or device does not have USB Type-C port, you can put this adapter and use it. So this is what we get in the box. This is actually a review unit that was sent to me by JBL India. I just want to make it very, very clear, I did not purchase it, but again, I have been actually testing this one for the last 2 weeks, so all the thoughts or whatever I'm mentioning in review is based on my personal testing. Just want to make it very clear. And again, as I've told you guys, it comes in two variants. The regular variant will come without the Smart TX, but you can also buy it with the Smart TX. So you get this one. This, I'll switch it on. As you can see, it has a small screen, and this makes this headphone very, very different. As you can see, it has a screen and we can unlock it. I'll switch on this headphone. I'll give you a physical overview. The good thing is, what I like about this headphone is that you have almost all physical buttons for most of the stuff. Again, now, and the moment I opened it up, now it has detected that the headphone is there. It has having 60% power, and I can unlock it via this. And by default, it'll actually, I can play stuff, whatever. And this, I can move tracks and all those things. With the screen, nothing special. We can adjust the volume. We can move between the ambient sound or whatever options are there. I'll talk about it later. And also, if we go to Bluetooth more, it'll also show you the devices that it is connected. Again, it does support multi what do you say, device connecting. So two Bluetooth devices at the same time, it can actually connect. And also the big thing is that the Smart TX will make this headphone a Auracast receiver. Yes, we have seen some headphones that have Auracast receiving, but with this one, we can not only receive Auracast signals, but we can also broadcast it. And I'll give you a practical example why it is important. And I think this is the only headphone that I know that has the ability of being Auracast receiver also, as well as a transmitter. Yeah, that Smart TX functionality, as I was talking about, that Auracast, you can set it up. So if you have Auracast feed, etc., it'll show over here. And again, you can select between those ones. And we can move between the spatial audio also. Of course, it has that 360 degrees, what do you say, audio and tracking and all those things are there on this one. It has a gyroscope, so it tracks that. Those options are there. Equalizer also, you can adjust directly from here. You don't even have to. I'll just mute this. So again, as you can see, timer and all those things are there. But the big thing about this one is, as I've told you, not only it can receive Auracast signals from other devices, so this makes it Auracast compatible, but we can also transmit audio via Auracast using this one. That makes it very, very special. For example, as I've told you, you can just, I actually did do this. I use this cable, and we have a USB port over here. We have two USB ports. One you can connect it over here. One is for charging, and the other you connect it to your devices. I connected this one end to my computer. That was my Mac Mini, and it was actually now getting the signals from the Mac Mini and transmitting it towards this one. So you can connect it to any device that has a USB port, or let's say if you have a very old device or etc. that does not have those advanced functionality, you can just use this 3.5mm headphone jack that you have. Almost every device will have that, and connect the other USB end towards this, and then this will start transmitting and you can use it wirelessly. So that way the functionality is unlimited. Apart from that, that is a simple function. Apart from that, what it can do is, whatever you're transmitting, let's say you want to broadcast it to multiple people, then you can set this as a transmitter, or a cast transmitter, and whatever signal that you're getting, let's say from that computer etc., or let's say on a tablet, you can transmit it via Auracast. I feel this is important. For example, a use case scenario I would say is that generally when we are traveling with family, myself and my daughter and my wife, generally three of us travel, and we try to load content when you're going on flights on a tablet. And the issue is that when we are watching that content in flight etc., all of us cannot enjoy the audio because you can't raise the audio a lot so that it will disturb. So what we were doing is, one TWS, one we used to take other, but again, let's say my wife won't be able to listen to that. Now, as we can configure this one as Auracast, which is transmitter, it can actually transmit to multiple devices. So that single tablet I just connected to this, and I can transmit that signal as Auracast to, and multiple devices can actually get it. Of course, this is Auracast compatible, and there are other headphones also that are Auracast compatible. So that way, this becomes a very interesting tool, I would say. Using this, not only you can receive Auracast signal, but you can also transmit Auracast signal. And another small thing that I like about this one is that you don't have to install the app. Let's say you're a person like me who actually have multiple smartphones. Again, using this one, you don't have to install that software on every smartphone. You can do most of the critical stuff directly using this one. You can adjust even the LDAC etc., all that functionality directly via this, as you can see. And now let's come back. I'll just shut this off. I'll show you that the headphone works without, if this is also shut off, I'll just shut this off permanently, and now this will just work like a normal Bluetooth headphone. So this is the headphones itself, and guys, it says the Tour One M3 over here. So not a lot of huge branding. We also have the JBL branding over here, and this is entirely actually made up of plastic, but again, it's very, very comfortable to wear, I would say. So no issues like that. Let's go over this list. Okay, now let's talk about build quality and looks and all those things. So build quality, I would say it's good. And another thing that I like about this one is very, very comfortable. This ear cup also actually has a little bit of movement because this is hanging like this, and I like this the cushion pads that it has. It's very, very soft, so when you wear it, it's super, super comfortable. And as these are actually not heavy at all, they give a very good feel. It simply does not feel that heavy. In fact, the padding here that is there also is actually quite a lot compared to other headphones. And also, I never had problems with these ear cups, but again, I noticed that the ear cups also are quite large on this one. So this is what it is. Of course, it also has a sensor inside. If you just remove it, it pauses the music and everything. Another thing that I like, this is the right ear cup. We have a lot of physical buttons on this one. This is for power on off, and this to move between ambient mode and all those things. Here we have the USB port, and again, apart from this, it also has a lot of microphones around throughout the headphone. In fact it has 10 microphones, and it uses 8 different microphones for active noise cancellation. I'll talk about it. Moving to this end, the left ear cup, you have a dedicated volume button, so you don't have to fiddle around for moving to the volume. Apart from that, there is also one more touch sensitive button on the right ear cup. This is actually also a touch sensitive area, and you can just, when you tap, it will pause the music, move to the next track and previous track and all this. So this is also a touch area. But I like the fact that we have a lot of physical buttons on this one. In fact, I like that the volume control is also given. So that way I would say the build quality is good. Looks are very, very subjective, but in terms of comfort, I would say these are very, very comfortable. So again, I don't have a problem with this one. Coming to the Bluetooth range, it has Bluetooth 5.3, and of course, as I've told you, also it does support LDAC. And I did not have any issues regarding the Bluetooth range with this one. So no issues that I have noticed. In fact, as I've told you, it can connect to 2 different Bluetooth devices simultaneously that we see on most of the high-end headphones. This one also does that. Now, talking about lag while watching video, here also I did not have a problem with this one. No lip syncing issue or anything. But in fact, in the app, there is an option to enable video mode. I didn't have to do it, but I'll show you that. So again, here also no option. Apps and button customization. Yes, we have physical buttons, and in fact we can also customize some of the buttons over here. Let me actually now show you the app. So by default, we have the ANC options. Again, you can also control this, as I've told you, directly from this one. This button, if you press, it moves between that. Ambient fare and all these things, you can shut it on and all this. So you can also use this physical button. In fact, you hardly have to use the app once you have set it up. Also, we have smart talk option. For example, if you're talking, it enables pass through, so that you can hear what others are saying. We also have personalized sound amplification option is there. Also, as I've told you, the smart audio and video was there. This is basically if you are having lip syncing issues while watching video. So this is the video mode that we have, but I personally didn't have to actually do it. I just kept it on the audio mode, and it was working. Now, do note that while switching this audio and video mode, it actually switches off the headphone and switches it back. But personally speaking, I didn't have any issues with this one. Again, as after video mode, it says if you're having issues, you can move that. Apart from that, autoplay pause, I've told you again, we have that also. This JBL Smart TX connector, I've switched it off. That's why it's not visible over here. But if I connect it and unlock it, as you can see it here, and you can control the settings of all these things. This manager is also over here. So that's what it is. I won't go in over there. I've already showed you. Again, we also have gestures, as I've told you, about the ambient sound control and all those things, left and right. And the playback control is over here. These are touch-based buttons that we have. We also have voice prompt. Another thing is that we have the silent now option. And this people will appreciate who travel a lot on international flights. Maybe you're just tired or something. You don't want to listen to music, but you want to wear your, ANC headphones, and you just want the ANC so that you just want to sleep or something. So they have this silent now option that is given, and you can change the duration, whatever you want and this thing. So small stuff that I'm noticing. Apart from that, low LE audio is also supported on this one. Now let's talk about audio. Of course, we have LDAC support also. As you saw, we can also enable it from here, or you can enable it directly from this one also. I like the equalizer option on this one. Let me actually give you an idea. By default, it will be on studio, and I was playing around with the EQs, and I loved the EQ that is known as jazz on this one. This is really, really good. The sound tuning on this one is good. But I noticed the higher tones, that the treble tones were a little bit on the higher side. So I just clicked on this one like this, and you can just move around this one and create your own. For example, I made jazz range. I just lowered the high tones a little bit, and this is giving me brilliant sound. Again, that spatial audio is also there, that 360-degree audio. So again, if you are into that 360-degree audio, I would say mostly, let's say you're watching movies or something, then you will enjoy it. Before when you move your head, it tracks, because this one actually has a gyroscope inside, and you can enable this head tracking if you want it fixed and all those things. So those options are there. This is one thing that I loved on this one. In fact, if I recall, about 2 years ago, I had reviewed the JBL Tour M1, the first version of this one. And there also we had personify, but this is the latest version of personify. This is version 3 that we have on this one. And this does a test. It will ask you to wear these headphones and play a number of tones, and thereby it will actually tweak the sound signature based on your hearing. For example, when you, if you're very, very young in your 20s or something, your hearing will be perfect. But as you age a little bit, your hearing actually changes a little bit. You might not hear some mid tones or some of the higher tones that clearly. And this test actually it takes about 3 odd minutes. It does a test first for the left ear. It plays a multiple of tones that you have to do. You just use this app and do this, and do it for the right, and then it changes. For example, in the test report, as you can see, it has said that for the left ear it changed a little bit of settings and right, and this has completely changed the sound signature personally for me. Initially for the first 3-4 days, I did not use it with this one, and then also I enjoyed the music by using that jazz preset. But after this one, oh my god, the difference was so dramatic. Some of the very faint sounds that was missing, they came back. So if you're definitely getting this headphones, play around with this one. Yes, this takes about 3-4 minutes to set up, but do it. It will blow your mind. And you can switch this on and off anytime to get an idea how it is working. And the good thing is that with Personify, it also works with your equalizer. It's not like if you use the Personify, equalizer settings don't work. So that way, it has been implemented very well. Also, now coming to these are basically for I like this low volume dynamic EQ. Sometimes in many of the headphones, what I've noticed is that to get the full spectrum of the sound, you have to increase the volume quite a bit. If you are listening at a lower volume, you might miss some of the tones. But if you enable this low volume dynamic EQ, you don't have to listen to a very high volume. Then also in medium to slightly lower volumes also, you get the full spectrum. So that option I enabled and I actually enjoyed it. Of course, max volume limiter and all those things. Now, so those are the things. So I would say in terms of app, button and customization, it is very good. Comfort, I've already spoken about. Let's talk about active noise cancellation later, but this is one thing I wanted to talk about, that is regarding the microphone on this one. The microphone on this one is also very, very good. In fact, it is employing AI in terms of microphone for taking calls. I thought it will be a super gimmick. In fact, out of those 10 mics, it uses 4 mics for this calls and all those things, and also employs AI. I'll talk about some of the options that you have. So you can actually tweak the sound, what you're hearing while you're on calls. So if you want to sound natural, you can do that. If you want increased treble, if you want to hear increased bass, you can do that. For how people hear you, that also you can change. Let's say by default it is a natural, and actually it does a very good job. But for some reason, let's say you want to sound a little bit bassy or something, you can actually do that, powerful, bright, and all those things. Those options are there. And what I like about this one is that it is definitely employing a little bit of AI, because what I noticed is that even in noisy situations, when there is a little bit of traffic around, I went to a road, I asked other people how did I sound, and they said that I was sounding fine and clearly. They could not make out that I was on a street. So it is doing that adaptive noise cancelling even while you're taking the calls. In fact, one area I feel it excelled while taking calls is in windy areas. Most of the headphones actually don't do a good job. I generally use that because sometimes I go on evening walks or something, and there is quite a bit of wind because the place where I'm staying is slightly outskirts. And most of the headphones, when I take call, people say that's too windy, they can't clear me. But this one actually is cutting down that wind noise also. So that AI or whatever they're doing while taking calls is definitely a plus. So for taking calls, I would say this is one of the best that I have seen as of now. So This is, I would say, microphone quality is 9.5 out of 10, one of the best that I've seen. Now let's talk about the active noise cancellation. And active noise cancellation again is done very well. I've shown you that in the first pane. ANC option is there, and in terms of active noise cancellation, again I have to say the quality of ANC that I got was very good, no issues. But these days most of these premium headphones, I would say from the last two generations, in terms of ANC, they are doing very good. Again, this one is also very good in terms of ANC, so you won't be disappointed. So active noise cancellation is done very well. Volume adjustment from the headphone directly. This is the dedicated button that I have, so I love this. You don't have to go open up your smartphone or do other fiddling stuff just to adjust the volume. Battery life, again, excellent. Without ANC, they are claiming about 70 hours, and with ANC it's 40 hours. In fact, I would say it'll last slightly over 40 hours, because still it was at what, 60%, and I've listened to almost more than easily about 20 odd hours on this one. If I open this one, this shows the battery. Yeah, this 60%. So as you can see. Now let's talk about the sound quality. Okay, in a lot of things like for calling, etc., it is very, very good. Excellent. But how is it in terms of sound? And here I have to say, again, I'm very, very happy and impressed. In fact, the JBL Tour M1, which I had actually tested about 2 years ago, in terms of sound quality was very, very good. Here I feel they have improved it even further, because they are using a new type of driver. It's a mica driver that they're using, and I feel this is able to react to music way fast. In fact, if I talk about the sound stage is excellent on this one. It gives a pretty wide, and that music separation that you want is there. So in terms of sound stage, they have done a very, very good job. Now if I break it down, let's say about bass, the bass is also produced very well on this one. You get that thumpy bass. In fact, after doing that personify, that option and enabled, some of the bassier tones also got so clear, apart from some of the higher tones. So in terms of bass, you won't be disappointed. In fact, I would say as the seal, this is very, very nice. It gives a very good seal, so you get that really good bass effect on this one. Coming to midtones, and again, it's JBL. You know, JBL and Harman, they are really good at sound. In terms of vocals also, you will be very, very happy. Vocals are produced excellent on this one. And of course, coming to higher tones, here I would say by default, these are one of the rare headphones where the higher tones that we have sparkle by default. You don't have to tweak it a little bit to increase the sparkle. I've seen in some of the other high-end headphones where you have to tweak in the settings quite a bit to get that sparkle, but that's not the case. Even trebles are produced very well. In fact, on the jazz preset, I had to actually lower it down a little bit. So these are also produced very well. So if I talk about the sound overall, I was thoroughly impressed with the sound, and in fact most of you will enjoy the sound signature that you are getting. I love the preset of that jazz. I would say it got that perfect sound that I wanted. Just I had to lower down the treble tones a little bit, as I've shown you in the EQ, custom EQ that I made, and I love the sound that I was getting. I didn't have to do further tweaking. So in terms of sound, I would have rated it 9 on 10 now. But after using the personify, as I've told you, for the first 3-4 days, I did not use the personify option. But after I started using the personify option, oh my God, the sound improved even better. Some of the small tones that were missing, they became alive. In fact, I started listening to many of the songs that I was listening to past 1.5 years, and I appreciated small details on it. So I would say with that personify, I would say in terms of sound, this is a 9.5 out of 10 for me. You will thoroughly enjoy it. In fact, as this is JBL product, these are pretty popular. I think so most of the big stores, etc., that you have, Chroma, Reliance, etc., in India will have stock this. So you can definitely go out there and check it for yourself. Don't take my word. Play music on this one, play around with the EQ a little bit. You'll love the sound signature that you're getting with this one. And once you enable that personify, oh my God, I would say then it becomes a headphone that is personally tuned for you. I would say that is the sound quality that I was getting on this one. The only small nitpickings that I have with this one is that, again, don't get me wrong, these ear cups are very, very comfortable and cushioned. So very, very comfortable, as this is not heavy at all. But again, as they're providing a very good seal, even without ANC, they do provide quite a bit of good seal. What I noticed is that after 1.5 hours of continuous listening, your ears can get a little bit warm. So you just have to open it for about 5 seconds and then bring it back. Apart from that, for moving between the tracks, etc., this is for this area is the touch area. You have to just do single tap for pausing, double tap for move to the next track, and triple taps to move to the previous track. I feel instead of having this touch-based control, as they're having everything as a physical control, even that they could have added one button over here for that, but that's just nitpicking. Overall, I would say if you're looking for a premium, ANC headphones, you can certainly have a look at this one. And with this option of this TX receiver, I have to say this becomes one of the most advanced ANC headphones that we have. Not only it becomes an Auracast receiver, but also becomes an Auracast transmitter, making it actually a future-proof device. Interruption from the future. When I made this video, I did not know the official pricing of this kit in India, but now I know the pricing. The Tour One M3, just the headphone kit in India, will be priced at 26,999. That's almost 27,000. But if you want with this Smart TX kit, which is this one, then the pricing would be 32,999. So guys, this was the JBL Tour One M3s with the Smart TX receiver. What do you guys feel about the same? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.